Hey guys, as I was recording this, I just found out that a dear friend of the show, Julie, just celebrated 90 days of sobriety today. So wow. First of all, congratulations. Thank you so much for your friendship, your kind words, and thank you for the reminder today that miracles still happen. The beautiful miracle of sobriety is right in front of us, guys. Great stuff. So this episode is how we can respond after we've relapsed or what we can do when we are tempted to drink. So I hope my rambling makes some sense, and I'll go ahead and get out of the way and let you listen to the show. Happy Sunday evening, my friends. Rob here. I am an alcoholic, and it is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you yet again. I had something on my heart this evening, just some advice from our literature about what we do when we're tempted to drink. And I found a couple of things from Asbill Caesar that quotes the big book and everything, because, every alcoholic's natural desire is to want to drink. And these are things that I wish I knew before I had relapsed in the past. So the first one is on page 77. This is from Asbill Caesar. RSVP, yes or no? Usually we do not avoid a place where there is drinking, if we have a legitimate reason for being there. That includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, even plain ordinary parties. You will note that we made an important qualification. Therefore, ask yourself, have I any good social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? Or am I expecting to steal a little vicarious pleasure from the atmosphere? Then go or stay away, whichever seems better. But be sure that you're on solid spiritual ground before you start, and that your motive in going is thoroughly good. Do not think of what you will get out of the occasion. Think of what you can bring to it. If you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. All right, so I'm going to come back to that in just a second, but I found another one all the way on page 188 from Asbill Caesar. To survive trials. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes wholly to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. Release from alcohol, and not flight from it, is our answer. Faith without works is dead. How appallingly true for the alcoholic. For if an alcoholic fails to perfect and enlarge his spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others, he cannot survive the certain trials and low spots ahead. If he does not work, he will surely drink again. And if he drinks, he will surely die. Then faith will be dead indeed. All right, so just in those two readings, I noticed two things right there. One, they talk about making sure you're, right here, be sure that you're on solid spiritual ground before you start. And then two, if you feel a little shaky, work with another alcoholic. Service work, right? So if you are like me and you've had a relapse before, first of all, there is no condemnation. As we talked about last week, guilt it's good because that can lead us back home, back to work, right? But shame keeps us stuck. Guilt is, I did a bad thing. Shame is, I am a bad person. And we certainly don't want to get stuck. So there's no condemnation, but a very clear call back to action. And I'm reminded of what it says in the big book, we are not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve. Contingent, that means depending, I think, on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. In other words, are we working the steps? Are we working the program to the best of our ability today? I always like what old timer and an elder statesman, rather, in one of my meetings would say. He would always start off with the day, the amount of days, then the months, and then the years that he's been sober. And, you would think the years sound the most impressive, but he says, no, I start in that importance. The days, then the months, and the months will lead to years. But it's one day at a time. Because if I rest on my laurels, I'm in bad shape. If I go, I don't need to go to that meeting, and then another powerful idea from the big book. If you are as seriously alcoholic as we were, we believe there's no middle of the road solution. In other words, half measures avail us nothing. I know for me, I've got to pour myself into the work. But again, I want to stress, don't stay in shame. Get right back on the program with full willingness, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So just some quick practical things. First of all, my sponsor would ask me, what are you willing to do to stay sober? And of course, I said anything, right? So he'd be like, okay, I want you to do 5 things for me. So these are the 5 things I'm just going to pass on to you. Whoever you might be, maybe you've just had a relapse, at least give these a try. Maybe they'll work for you. 1, read the literature every day. Read the big book, not just casually, but, really look for yourself in it. Look for the similarities. We can learn about our illness, and we can also learn about our solution. And if you don't have a physical copy, the Everything AA app is free. It's got the 12 and 12 on there. It's got the big book on there, or audio versions of those 2 books, I believe. The Daily Reflections is on there. Zoom meetings are on there. Sobriety tracker. Oh, and another thing is I've been doing a nightly reflection where I take an inventory of the day. So anyway, number 1, read the big book every day. 2, get to meetings. And if you need to go all in with a 90 and 90 or something like that, I've known a lot of people that have done that. There's something powerful about building that healthy routine. Oh, and also speaking again of the Everything AA app, they have Zoom meetings on there as well. 3, pray. Even if it feels awkward and you're not sure what to believe, it could be as simple as, God, please help me to be sober today. And if somehow by the end of the day, if I'm sober, maybe getting back on my knees and saying, God, thank you for allowing me to be sober another day. Number 4, get a sponsor and call before I want to take a drink, right? Be honest, especially about the stuff we don't really want to say. The stuff that's really troubling us. And then finally, number 5, as both readings suggest today, help somebody else. Try to help another alcoholic as soon as you can. Maybe it's, hey man, you want to go to this meeting with me? Or, hey man, how you doing? Or maybe going to the meetings and getting the coffee started, to help hold yourself accountable to show up. But that's it. That's for me, that helps me with my spiritual condition. Again, reading the big book every day, getting to meetings, praying, calling my sponsor, checking in every day, and trying to help somebody else. If I do those 5 things, just maybe I'll have that daily reprieve. But the biggest thing, guys, is just get right back on it. Now, is all this work worth it? Well, first of all, it starts off as a necessity to keep us sober. Yeah, of course, that helps. That helps a lot. But over time, in doing the work, you gain so many things in sobriety. So it starts off with just, if I do these things, I won't drink today. And that's great. That's the necessary part, right? So it starts off as a need, but then eventually it turns into a want. Because over time, we realize all the blessings that come with the beauty and the freedom of sobriety. Great stuff. So on that note, guys, I'll just go ahead and read a little bit of page 164. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize that we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past and give freely of what you find and join us. And listen, you don't have to do this alone. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. But my friend, may God bless you and keep you. Until then.